So my husband is joining me in the kitchen today, my self-proclaimed veggie hater. And I mentioned earlier that I have a 2-year-old named Maddie who is giving me a run for my money with veggies. But I have to say, 10 years being married to this one has definitely put me through the flaming trial. So we're making a veggie-packed turkey burger that has a pizza spin on it. So hopefully that pizza spin will completely mask any of the veggies in here. And he's gonna be our taste tester for today, so we'll see. So Sean, I'm gonna have you add our veggie to this recipe, which is zucchini. And so zucchini is a really great veggie to add to any recipe where you're kind of trying to mask them because it doesn't have a lot of flavor, but it adds a lot of moisture. So that'll be really good, especially because we're doing turkey, and that can get really dried out when you're grilling it and preparing it for burgers. So I'll just have you grate one medium-sized zucchini here with a grater, and what you can do is you can put it into a bowl, and that makes it a little bit easier to grate rather than just going all over the place. And I have a paper towel in here because we're going to squeeze out the extra moisture in the zucchini. So if that's too hard for you to do in the bowl,
I'll try it. I've never grated a zucchini in my life.
You can just pop it out and put it on the cutting board if that's a little easier, and then we can put it in the bowl later.
Which side? This one?
So you'll just want to use the grate side. So just the nice large grate.
Okay.
There you go.
Like this?
Yep. So go ahead and grate it into the bowl. You'll do great. A lot of times at home, I'm the one in the kitchen cooking, and he always jokes that I make him stay out of the kitchen because there's only room enough for one cook in the kitchen. But he, from time to time, helps me, especially when it's Christmas time. He's my sous chef at Christmas.
Yes, I know how to cook all the Christmases.
He knows how to do things if I show him how. So then to this, I'm also going to add some roasted red pepper. And roasted red pepper is a really delicious thing to add to burgers, especially pizza burgers, because it gives it that pizza flavor. A lot of times people are accustomed to doing green bell peppers on pizza. So if you want to do green bell peppers, that would work great as well. I would just soften them a little bit, either in a pan or even do maybe some frozen peppers and just saute them a little bit so that they're softened, just like this roasted red bell pepper.
Watch out.
So, how's it going there?
Is that enough?
It's looking good. So
the whole thing?
Yep, it looks good. So I'm gonna add this to the bowl with the ground turkey. You could also do ground chicken or ground beef for this recipe. And I just did about a 1/4 cup. You don't have to measure it perfectly. That's the fun of cooking, is it doesn't have to be perfect. You can kind of just eyeball it, but about a 1/4 cup of the roasted red bell pepper. That's looking good, Sean. And then I'm gonna do some banana peppers. And again, about a 1/4 cup. So then, Sean, that looks really good. We'll add that to the bowl with the ground turkey, so you can just kind of pour it in.
Okay.
Yep. And that looks great. Wow, that's a lot of zucchini. So that was more like a large zucchini, so I'm gonna take just a little bit out, just a handful, just because we don't want it to be on the wet side. So then I'm gonna add for seasonings. You always wanna season your meat, and usually I say a pound of meat for a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So we have a pound of ground turkey here, so I'm gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. You could also do basil or oregano, but that's a blend of the two, so it's really easy and nice to use the Italian seasoning. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then Sean, I'll have you add the Parmesan cheese.
Okay.
You can just scoop out 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. So Sean, you'll have to tell me, where did your kind of distaste for veggies come from? Do you remember when it started?
The only thing I remember is when I was really young, I had a green bean experience that I don't want to go too deep into, but
it was traumatic for you.
It was traumatic, yeah. I think, and that was just like set it off. Anything green was kind of always scary to me, but for me, veggies always is the texture that kind of sometimes grosses me out. But when if it has like a crunch to it, that's what I like.
So instead of just stirring this with a spoon, you can kind of start there, so you can kind of start to mix it. But then I like to get in with my hands and really incorporate everything, especially when it comes to ground meat. You don't want to over stir it or over mix it, because then your burgers can get tough. But if you do this kind of folding motion with your hands, you can incorporate all the ingredients without getting the burgers tough.
Okay.
And so I just lined a baking sheet pan with parchment paper so they don't stick. Now you could definitely do these on an outdoor grill, but we're gonna cook them inside in the oven. So we're gonna cook them at 450 degrees for about 18 minutes and just flip them halfway through. So if you're using a grill, just 450-degree grill, you might be able to get away with maybe 16 to 18 minutes for these for cooking. Just with turkey, always make sure chicken and turkey reach an internal temperature of 165 degrees. So you might want to use a meat thermometer. And it doesn't have to be perfect there. But the nice thing about these burgers is you can see how they have a ton of flavors that we added to them with the roasted red pepper and the banana peppers, and the zucchini will kind of just blend in there. Now, to take it even a step further and really mask any veggies in these burgers, especially for Sean, I'm going to, in the last 2 minutes of cooking, I'm gonna top them with a little bit of marinara sauce or pizza sauce, and then top them off with some cheese and some diced pepperoni. Now, the nice thing about doing that is not only does it mask anything that you don't want to see that's green, but it's also absolutely delicious, and it definitely takes these pizza burgers over the top. So let's pop these in the oven.